I'm ready. Thanks, Mike. Good afternoon. It's 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. This is the City Council meeting of the City of New Ulm, which is being called to order. Item number 1 is the consent agenda. Councilors, what are your wishes?
I'll offer a motion to approve those.
Second.
Thank you. We do have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 2.1, pull tabs and raffles gambling permit for New Ulm Area Catholic Schools.
I'll offer a motion to approve the issuance of lawful gambling permit for New Ulm Area Catholic Schools to conduct pull tabs and raffle gambling at Kegel Club, 1416 19th North Street on Friday, January 31st, 2025.
Second.
Thank you. We do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Item number 2.2, raffles gambling permit for Sioux Trails Ducks Unlimited.
A motion to approve the issuance of a lawful gambling permit for the Sioux Trails Ducks Unlimited to conduct raffles gambling at Minnesota National Guard, 203 North Broadway on Friday, January 31, 2025.
Second.
Thank you. We do have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Item 2.3, bingo gambling permit for Southwest Minnesota Mudheads, Chapter MN-0332.
I'll take this one. I'll offer a motion to issue the issuance of a lawful gambling permit for Southwest Minnesota Mudhens, Chapter Minnesota-0332, to conduct bingo gambling at the New Ulm American Legion, 13 South Minnesota Street, on Sunday, December 8th, 2024.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye. Aye. That motion carries. Item 3.1 is a variance request for 1 Indian Point Drive, Dwight and Denise Hughes. Mr. Nisley.
Good evening, Council President, Councilors. John Nisley, planner with the City of New Ulm. This variance request is by Dwight and Denise Hughes to allow a storage shed to be located 5 feet from the property line abutting South Highland Avenue, on property legally described as Lot 10, Lampright Subdivision, and a street address of 1 Indian Point Drive. I would note that the right-of-way that they're seeking relief from is an unimproved right-of-way of South Highland Avenue. It largely consists of a stormwater outlet that drains most of South Highland Avenue, and it's a steep ravine and heavily wooded. The Planning Commission at its October 31st, 2024 meeting unanimously recommended approval of the variance request with 2 conditions. Their reasoning for their granting or the approval of the request can be found in the findings of fact in the staff report here. So just a real quick overview. Again, the property owner is proposing to install an 8x12, 96 square foot garden shed. The shed is pre-made from Dakota Sheds and will match the color of the home. The shed is mobile and will be placed on a floating concrete slab to the east, north and east of the house. The shed is proposed to be placed 32 feet from the Indian Point Drive right-of-way and 5 feet from the South Highland Avenue right-of-way. Immediately to the east of the proposed shed, again, is a slope that drops off about 20% down into the ravine, and that flows into Flandreau State Park. There were 2 recommended conditions. 1, that the applicant and property owner pay the cost to record the permit with the Brown County Recorder's Office. And 2, if the unimproved South Highland Avenue right-of-way were to be improved in the future and the shed were in the construction limits, the shed would be required to be removed by the applicant at the applicant's expense. And that concludes the staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Nisley.
Well, just seeing that they'd agree to move the shed if we ever do something with that, and with a unanimous recommendation, I'll offer the resolution to approve the variance request with conditions of Dwight and Denise Hughes to allow a storage shed to be located 5 feet from the property line abutting South Highland Avenue on property legally described as Lot 10, Lampright Subdivision, with a street address of 1 Indian Point Drive.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
John, one quick question. If this property would sell, does this condition stay with the property?
Yes.
Does that become part of the seller's notification and all that kind of stuff?
So this resolution will be recorded with the Brown County Recorder's Office, so when they do any title work, this should pop up.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz? Yes. Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
President Bettker?
Yes, that motion carries. Thank you. Item number 4.1 is a request for tax abatement assistance for Rebound Real Estate LLC. Mr. Schnobrick.
Madam President, members of the City Council, in your agenda packet, you have a letter from Mark Kunder, who is an employee of Rebound Real Estate LLC. And they are requesting that the city staff prepare a tax abatement program for a property that they own at 214 North Minnesota Street. That is the former Lamplighter site. That site experienced fire in September of 2022, and the building has been vacant since that time. It is their intention to establish a farm winery restaurant at that location. City Council authorized a conditional use permit for that purpose at its October 1st, 2024 meeting. The total project cost is approximately $2 million. Of that amount, $1.4 million would be associated with construction activities. A tax abatement program allows the city to rebate a portion of the property tax back to the property owner, who then uses it to pay for development or redevelopment expenses. The city currently has 6 tax abatement programs, and tax abatement can be used for general economic development purposes that increases the community's tax base. As part of the approval of a tax abatement program, there will be a public hearing, and there also will be a need for a development agreement. And so tonight, the action that staff would request that you take is to retain the firm of David Drone and Associates to prepare and review the documentation necessary to establish a tax abatement program at a cost of $1,500. Authorize city staff to provide necessary support for this project. And then finally, authorize staff to schedule a public hearing on the project when we have the necessary documentation completed for presentation to the City Council. That would conclude the staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Schnobrick.
Well, this property certainly sustained substantial fire damage, and it's going to take a lot of work to get it deconstructed and then reconstructed. And so I think tax abatement is perfect for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and offer a motion that we receive communication from Rebound Real Estate LLC and authorize city staff to proceed with steps necessary to establish a tax abatement program to support this project at 214 North Minnesota Street.
Second.
Thank you. We do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion does carry. Under new business tonight, item 5.1 is regarding ordinance number 2024-TBD, first consideration regarding schedule of fees.
Counselors, the fee schedule has been reviewed as it is every year. I believe attached to the agenda item included the Park and Rec and the library fee schedule. Those have both been approved by their respective boards, and the directors can answer questions if you have any questions on those. As far as the city portion of the schedule goes, there are a few changes, not a lot. We have added the micromobility fee that we've actually been charging for the last couple of years, so that just appears on the schedule for the first time. That involves the e-scooters. The cemetery has a few changes in some of their grave openings, and they review that every year as well. And there are some changes in fees for amendments to the comprehensive plan, conditional use permits, mechanical permits, interim use permits, planned unit developments, and rezoning requests. Those fees have all been increased, some as much as $100. And then a simple lot division has been increased by $25 to $200. We've added the stormwater infrastructure fee to the schedule for the first time. That was approved last year and started being charged in August. And then the fee for variance has been increased from $200 to $300. And leased parking stalls have been increased another $2 a month. So If you have any questions, I can answer those.
I can just make a note that I went through these pretty thoroughly and didn't see anything that stood out and of concern for me. So with that, I'm going to offer a motion to conduct the first consideration of ordinance number 2024, amending section 2.99 of City Code of the City of New Ulm relative to the schedule of fees.
Second.
Thank you. We do have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? I'm going to say if Les went through all the fees and he's good with them, that's a good thing.
I didn't. I went through them.
Did. So did I. Any
I
additional?
usually have a couple that I want to talk about, and I didn't have any this year.
Very surprised on that. So thank you, Nicole and staff. Great job.
Yes.
Any additional discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion does carry. Item number 5.2 is an appointment to the Sister Cities Commission.
I'll offer a motion to approve the appointment of Tony Baronick to the Sister Cities Commission to fill the unexpired term of Lori Reiser.
Second.
Thank you. We do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion does carry. Welcome, Tony, to the Sister Cities Commission. Item number 5.3 is New Ulm Battery Cannon Shoot Veterans Day.
I'll make a motion to approve or authorize the New Ulm Battery to shoot cannons in observance of Veterans Day at Shell's Brewery, 1860 Shell Road on Monday, November 11th, 2024 at 11 a.m.
Second.
Thank you. We do have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Item 5.4, City of New Ulm and River Valley BMX License Agreement. Mr. Schugel.
Thank you, Council President Betker, City Council. Joey Schugel at the Park and Recreation Department Director. Before you is a proposed license agreement between River Valley BMX and the City of New Ulm. This discussion first started with a workshop in September with all of you, and then went to our Park and Rec Commission in October of 2024. What you have in your as an attachment is the license agreement, and there's really two different parts of that license agreement. The first one is to operate for River Valley BMX to operate the BMX track at 314 3rd South Street, and then the second part of that is with terms of a loan. That the loan would be for $100,000 paid off in 15 years or less. With that agreement comes, different requirements for River Valley BMX and the city's relationship that would be reviewed on an annual basis. And I will touch on, the real reason for the request of the loan is for a large safety redesign of the current BMX track. So our River Valley BMX Association has done a lot of work over the years on the track, and now to the point, if they want to expand further and offer some larger races, would be looking for a redesign. This funding would help them do that. It would not be the only funding for that redesign. This agreement was developed with the city attorney. Both sides did review, and I am here to answer any questions, and it looks like we have many members from the River Valley BMX Association as well.
I had a question, but you go ahead.
Go ahead.
Before this, was there any kind of formal agreement in place with the group?
So I went back as when first talking with them, and this started numerous months ago, and I couldn't find anything in there. Now we did have we have an agreement every year where they lease the BMX track, and they have paid that and are up to date on that, and that was that point. But a formal agreement, I couldn't find anything in the records. So this was, getting that to that point is where we started with the license agreement, and then those loan terms were added into this.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, how many years has BMX been operating now?
So, I think it went back, and maybe they know further, but I had all the way back from 2000, I think it was 2005 is what I saw formal, but I think it was even earlier than that. The bike track was, or the BMX track was created in 1995, if I'm remembering right on the years, and I think River Valley BMX came shortly thereafter.
Okay.
I'm looking for the finance director. Your recommendation, like on the bottom, the fund balance, or,
I would use their fund balance, yeah,
Okay.
knowing that it's coming back and would just rebuild that.
gotcha.
Yeah.
And one other comment I do want to make, maybe the general public doesn't know that the BMX track is open for public use outside tournaments or whatever they're doing. It is open to the public. It's not just for the BMX people. Good note. Thank you.
And then we think we talked about this back in September, but the age of the racers is what again, Joey? I see a little guy there. Is he a racer?
Right. Yes, so they start them from very low, from Strider bikes, all the way until, I think last time they presented, they said they had individuals in their 60s to 70s, potentially.
71-year-old or something, I
Yes,
think he
racing,
said
so.
last time. The mayor was thinking about doing that, right?
It's a wonderful community of BMX. I mean, it's a unique thing that we have and are able to offer in New Ulm, and I do appreciate all the work that goes into keeping it going and operating, and let's find a way to help them make it better. So it sounds like we're all kind of in agreement here, so I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the proposed license agreement between the City of New Ulm and River Valley BMX to use public park property at the BMX track 314 3rd South Street, including a loan request from River Valley BMX to the City of New Ulm in the amount of $100,000 for a track safety remodel using Park and Recreation fund balance.
Second.
Thank you. We do have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion?
Just like to make a comment of appreciation again to this group. I know when you were here for the work session and shared all the different things that you have done to make improvements and to not only maintain but to grow the program, I applaud you for your efforts, and it's a great partnership for the city of New Ulm to be able to work with you.
I was going to make the same argument, so. Yeah.
I was also going to make the comment to thank you because you guys went about this the right way, the proper way. We do get a lot of asks for different things here, and you guys had all the information together. You made it very easy. The fact that you're not only investing in the park, committing to it, but making improvements to it that are going to do things that are going to attract new audiences and more people here through different competitions is really great because, you know, as part of our comprehensive plan, we're trying to find new ways to do things that maybe don't revolve around beer and those kind of things. And so what you were saying about being one of kind of the few in the area, I think is going to be very good. And so we're really excited and know that you guys are going to put the work into it. And I just wanted to say thank you for that also.
I'd like to just add that I'm just very excited at all the more reinvestment within our community. I mean, it's all these special interest groups that make us unique, and, you know, we try to accommodate them all, and they did a great job presenting themselves.
My son is 37 and still has his BMX trophies and badges and coins, and I'm very proud of him.
Any other comments? All right. Those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion does carry. Thank you guys so much. Item 5.5, Herman Monument Christmas lighting request from the Herman Monument Society.
Betker, City Council. This is a request from the Herman Monument Society. You'll see an attached letter in your packet to string LED lighting around the Herman Monument fence up at Herman Heights Park. The Herman Monument Society is proposing to cover all costs associated with that, which would include not only the rope lighting, but also electrical upgrades to the park to be able to handle that in those locations. I would note that Park and Rec staff, at least if approved in the initial first year, would do the stringing and hanging around the fence and do the takedown there for just safety and the liability associated with doing that. Any questions?
I had two questions. Number one, is there going to be like some type of like a donation bucket or something that people can give to support this? Because while it's great Herman Monument Society is doing this, we all know that there's so much work needed to be done for Herman. And I definitely see this as an opportunity for this society to just at least help offset the cost of the lighting.
Council President Betker, I can bring that to their next meeting. They meet next week and talk about that. One of the things their goal is for exposure of the monument. And one of the, with the lighting up, potential lighting up at Herman Heights Park during holiday time, we did talk internally about getting people closer to the area. So that could be a possibility. I will certainly bring that up at their next meeting.
Actually, that was my only question.
One other minor question that might come up, is it just timing that it didn't go to Monuments and Cemetery Commission?
Counselor Christian, exactly, it is
Okay.
timing, so they don't meet until December is their next meeting, and they haven't met since September, and this request came in the meantime, so it only did go to Park and Rec Commission.
All right.
And
With that, I'll offer a motion to approve the request for Herman Monument Society to add Christmas lighting to the Herman Monument fence beginning Friday, November 29th to Sunday, January 5th, 2025.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 5.6 is Park and Recreation donations.
Council President Betker, councilors, looking for approval of the following donations. First, the two different donations from the Optimist Club, one in the amount of $400 for the annual Skate with Santa program, another for $1,000 in partnership with the New Ulm Public Library for a New Year's Eve party out at the Civic Center around skating and other youth activities out there. $3,600 from New Ulm Baseball Association for a concrete pad at Miller Park. And a used heavy-duty rubber conveyor belt with an approximate value of $200 from MR Paving. That is used for our skimmers at our outdoor wading pools to keep some of the debris over when we're closed during the year to cover that up.
I was wondering what that was.
So a total value of $5,200.
I'll offer the resolution to accept the following donations offered to the City of New Ulm through the Park and Rec Department for the identified purposes.
Second.
Thank you. A motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
President Betker?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 6.1 is a report of claims paid.
I'll make a motion to accept the list of claims paid in the amount of $4,151,337.13.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion does carry. At this time, we will approve, I am looking for an improvement to adjourn until Friday, November 8th, 2024 at noon to canvass the 2024 general election and to declare the results of that election.
Now, we have a couple of us that can't make that, so we should make sure that we're going to have
Have to
a,
have three of you for sure. yeah.
I will be there.
I will be there.
I will find a way to be here.
not be there.
The two retirees. No.
Okay. Let's set like 6 reminders on our calendar and everything.
I'll send out a calendar reminder tomorrow.
Thank you.
Do we make a motion for this then, Andrea?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve to adjourn to Friday, November 8th, 2024 at 12 p.m. to canvass the 2024 general election and declare results of the general election.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion does carry, and we are adjourned to Friday, November 8th, 2024 at 12 p.m. Thank you.